So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're
This is my video update on this Friday afternoon, July the 25th, coming to you from Moscow. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with a rocket ship in the middle of Moscow. Let's start things off with day 2 of the fighting between Cambodia and Thailand. This is the second day of this border clash between the two countries. Something that has happened before in the past, has happened many times in the past, but this time around it looks a lot more serious. The latest news that we got this morning, actually.
I'm street photographer.
Oh, very cool.
I make for you a great photo.
Great, thanks. I'm recording a video, so all right, thanks. Let's see. That was interesting. Cambodia, Thailand. Cambodia, Thailand. The latest news that we got this morning, actually, was that Malaysia has offered to mediate a resolution to the conflict. So if we can't mediate a solution to this conflict, if Malaysia cannot mediate, then according to the Prime Minister of Thailand, this thing could escalate to a full-blown war. They share a 500-mile border, which was demarcated by France, actually, which was the colonial power controlling Cambodia. So if you want really good information on what's going on between Cambodia and Thailand, then I would suggest you follow Brian Berletic on X or on Telegram. He's in the region, and he will give you the lowdown as to what is happening with this clash, which could become a war, a full-blown war. But let's hope that we do get some mediation from Malaysia. Keep in mind that in January of this year, Thailand became a BRICS partner nation. So I don't know, maybe there's some, I can hear Oasis playing in the background over there. Don't look back in anger. Oasis playing in Moscow. That's cool. Anyway, yeah, a BRICS partner nation. That was Thailand in January of 2025. So I don't know, maybe there's a bit of containing China, BRICS, strategy from the collective West playing out in this skirmish. I don't know, but follow Brian, and I think you'll get to the best information on what is happening in this conflict. So let's move on to the cardboard revolution. That is what they are calling it, the cardboard revolution in Kiev, because the protesters They are holding signs made of cardboard. And at first, the signs had handwritten messages on them. And now the signs have typewritten messages on them. So it looks like things are escalating, right? You know, when Zelensky sees, when it goes from handwritten to typewritten, you know, Zelensky is saying, "Oh my God, I better U-turn on the cancellation of NABU, the anti-corruption agency. He who controls NABU controls the spice." Zelensky tried to grab NABU and to control the money flows. And the collective West said, no, Mr. Zelensky, that is not going to happen. So what is going on? Let me lower the audio. All right. That's some loud music. I'm going to have to do some audio fixing to try and keep my voice with you guys and to get rid of the audio. That's the problem with walking in high traffic areas, is you get all the music and it makes everything really hard. But anyway, we'll see what I can do in post. So Zelensky U-turned. He U-turned on the whole NABU thing. I talked about this in my video update yesterday, but we are still getting calls for Zelensky to step down, even from the big-time Green Goblin supporter, the UK Telegraph. They are even calling for Zelensky to step down. They're saying that Zelensky has served his purpose. It's time for a change. That is what the Telegraph is reporting. Now let me put down my bella cola today. Today is bella cola. I've gone through Dobry Cola, I've gone through Everest Cola. I don't think I've shown you guys Rich Cola, but today is Bella Cola. So I believe this is the Telegraph, right? Owen Matthews. For Ukraine's sake, Zelensky must now step aside. The inspirational leader is no longer part of the solution to ending the conflict with Russia. He is now part of the problem. Man, when the UK Telegraph turns on you, that's bad news. And look at the photo of Zelensky. No longer are we given photos of the brave, courageous Churchillian Green Goblin Zelensky. Now we're shown photos of the evil, authoritarian, sad, panicky, angry Zelensky. Media manipulation, everybody. Media manipulation. So, he's U-turned. He'll get out of this one. Maybe he'll get out of this one. The videos that I saw from the protests the other day, it had masked men who were at these protests as well, in camouflage. Collective West, Lindsey Graham, Ursula, they're definitely sending Zelensky a message, right? We're going to control the money flow, buddy, not you. You're not going to control the money flow. We're going to control the money flow. The Financial Times, they put out a puff piece on Yermak. Yeah, a puff piece on Andrei Yermak, Zelensky's entertainment lawyer, who is now his number two. Some people think he's the guy that is really running the show in Ukraine. The article has the title, "The Polarizing Power of Ukraine's Other Wartime Leader." He's the other wartime leader, Yermak. So the article is a whole lot of myth building on Yermak. It creates the myth of Yermak, the 6'2", tough, one-time entertainment lawyer, TV producer, friend of Zelensky, who is now this government manager, military mastermind, running the country in a time of war and making military decisions. And he's the guy that everyone goes to get answers, right? It's Yermak. Yermak is the man. And that is what the Financial Times is basically writing in this very, very long article, really building up Yermak. But it also tears him down in certain parts of this article. For example, it says that Yermak was the guy that decided on Bakhmut. He's the guy that made the decision, overriding the military, which was saying to retreat from Bakhmut. He's the guy that said, no, we're going to stay in Bakhmut. Russians are taking losses, we'll take losses, but there's a media story to Bakhmut. That's what the Financial Times said, that Yermak saw the media opportunity in Bakhmut, that it was going to be the Bakhmut fortress, and the fortress was going to hold out for however many days it could hold out, and then he was going to use Bakhmut, Fortress Bakhmut, to go to Congress, where Zelensky gave a speech. Pelosi, Harris, remember, they handed him a flag signed by everybody in Congress. And that was going to be used to get more money from the U.S. So they say that it was Yermak who is to blame for Bakhmut, but also the guy that saw the media narrative to Fortress Bakhmut. The Financial Times, they also say that during the beginning of the conflict, when Russia called up Ukraine and said, this is like about a month into the conflict, and they called up Ukraine and they said, let's get to a negotiated deal. This is before Boris Johnson or anything like that flew to Kiev. Yermak told the Kremlin to F off. That is what the article says. The phone rang, it went to Yermak's office, it was the Kremlin looking for a deal, and Yermak said, F off. It also says that Yermak and Zelensky do everything together. They are best buds, according to the Financial Times. Best buddies. Their offices are like down the hall, or Yermak's office is 2 floors down from Zelensky's. I don't know, they're close by. Their offices are close by. They work out together. They watch movies together. During the beginning of the conflict, it says that both Yermak and Zelensky, they held rifles during the first couple of weeks of the SMO, and they both held rifles, and they made this pact or something that either they're going to fight the Russians or they'll delete each other or something like that. It was a weird passage from the Financial Times talking about the closeness between Yermak and Zelensky. And they also say that Yermak is the guy that manages the Hollywood stars. Yeah, he's the guy that has the contact to all the Hollywood stars, and he's the guy that brings the Hollywood stars over to Kiev, and he messages the Hollywood stars and all of that stuff. So I don't know if this is an article from the Financial Times in order to build up Yermak so that he's going to be the one that replaces Zelensky and not Zaluzhny. Right now the talk is about Zaluzhny, so maybe this is an article which is meant to promote Yermak so he can take over for Zelensky. Or if this is an article that is meant to put all the blame on Yermak when everything collapses, right? Since he's the guy that is making all the decisions and calling all the shots. I can't figure out what the angle of the Financial Times is with this article. Are you looking to build up Yermak so he can take over, or are you looking to throw him under the bus when everything crashes? Oh boy, anyway, yeah. Yermak and Zelensky, best buddies. The Financial Times article says that they even quote movie lines together. They watch movies together. They have a movie night, Yermak and Zelensky, and they actually quote famous movie lines together. It's not a joke. This is not a joke. Financial Times is actually writing this stuff. Yermak, let's watch Jerry Maguire together, eh? Okay, Mr. President. Look, Yermak. Tom Cruise is about to say, "You complete me." No, you complete me. No, I complete you. Yermak, you know all of the very cool cinema lines. Podolyak, you stay here. You answer phone. Me and Andre, we're going to go work out. I need a spotter for my squats. Okay, Mr. President. I'll stay here and answer the phones. Podolyak is all upset and jealous because Zelensky likes Yermak more. Oh, man, they complete each other's sentences. I will make you an offer you can't refuse. I will make you an offer you can't refuse. Yermak, we know all of the movie lines. Let's call up Sean Penn, invite him over to Kiev, and we can hang out. So that's a Financial Times. Enough goofing around. I was here in the rain the other day, so I thought I would come here now that we have a beautiful sunny day. For all the ballet lovers and the theater lovers. So let's shift gears. Should we shift gears? I think we can shift gears. Do I have anything else to say about Project Ukraine? No, I don't think so. Oh yeah, I do have one more story on Project Ukraine, and then we'll talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. So the German Foreign Minister, Johann Wonderful, he is saying that the German government, the Merz government, has delivered weapons to Ukraine that will be used for deep strikes into Russia. He will not say what those weapons are, but I think we all know what he is talking about. He gave an interview to Die Welt. Wadafol did not name specific systems, but appeared to reference the Taurus missile, a long-range weapon capable of hitting targets up to 500 kilometers away, including inside Russian territory. Quote, Ukraine will also have the means to strike back into Russian territory, he said. However, we will not reveal to Russian President Vladimir Putin which weapons systems we are providing to Ukraine. Right? Strategic ambiguity from the German foreign minister, Mr. Wadafol. Nasty guy, man. The new German foreign minister. Not as smart as Annalena, but I think he may even be more sinister than Annalena. I don't know. He is not a fan of Russia. I mean, this guy absolutely despises Russia. Anyway, that's the latest update there. Taurus missiles, it looks like they will be coming very soon. We'll see how Russia reacts. I think it will depend on how effective those Taurus missiles are. That will dictate how Russia reacts, but no doubt about it, it will need Germany and NATO and the United States to launch those Taurus missiles. So the Department of Justice, shifting gears now, they had a meeting with Ghislaine Maxwell. Very secret meeting, very private meeting. Nothing revealed as to what was discussed or any of the details of this meeting. Very hush-hush, the meeting between the DOJ and Ghislaine Maxwell. There are reports saying that the Department of Justice gave Ghislaine Maxwell a white box. Ghislaine Maxwell returned to prison with a white box after meeting with the DOJ. A white box. I don't know what was in that white box, like a Jack in the Box burger or something, or In-N-Out burger, or I don't know. What was in the white box? The client list? Is that what was in the white box? I've got a bad feeling about these talks. Really bad feeling. There's some negotiation taking place. I would not be surprised if Ghislaine Maxwell testifies or issues some sort of statement about the client list, and then they let her go. I don't know. Something does not feel right. So Trump brought up the Epstein list again. I don't know why he brings it up, man. I don't know why Trump brings this up. President Trump, don't bring it up, man. just let it go. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it, but he wants to talk about it. He posted on X, the radical left Democrats are doing everything in their power to distract and obfuscate from our great 6 months of service to America, results of which many are saying is the best 6 months in presidential history. They have gone absolutely crazy and are playing another Russia hoax, but this time under the guise of what we will call the Jeffrey Epstein scam. As things are revealed, and I hope will take place quickly, you will see that it is yet another Democrat con job. Hopefully the grand jury files will put an end to this hoax. Everyone should see what is there, but people who are innocent should not be hurt. Make America great again. Yeah, this message is setting us up for some sort of gaslighting. No doubt about it. The grand jury files, that's what we're going to get, the grand jury files. Whatever files were maintained by the FBI, we're going to get a Ghislaine Maxwell statement saying that there was nothing really there. There was nothing going on. There were no clients. It was just me and Jeffrey or something like that. And that'll be it. That's my guess. That is my guess. And Trump is connecting this to the Russiagate hoax, which is now being released by Tulsi Gabbard. So I think you can see what is happening, the distraction that is unfolding in all of this. So talking about the Russiagate hoax, Tulsi Gabbard, she revealed that in the documents that she released, there were some documents which talked about Hillary Clinton. Now, she was campaigning back in 2015 and 16. And basically the documents claim that according to U.S. intel, Russia intel had information on Hillary Clinton's health, her health and her state of mind, her mental health and her physical health. And according to these documents, Russia had information that Hillary Clinton was a complete mess. Health-wise, mental and physical, she was an absolute train wreck, according to these documents. Russia sat on intel of Hillary Clinton's alleged heavy tranquilizers use, new docs claim. DNI Gabbard declassified a report prepared by the House Intelligence Committee containing the allegations. We're talking about documents which claim that the Kremlin knew about Hillary Clinton allegedly being on tranquilizers, allegedly having type 2 diabetes, heart problems, mood swings. She would get very angry and aggressive, and then her mood would shift to very happy. And she was just a complete freaking mess, according to these documents. The Russian Foreign Intelligence Service also allegedly had DNC communications that showed that Clinton was suffering from intensified psycho-emotional problems, including uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness. Clinton was placed on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers, and while afraid of losing, she remained obsessed with the thirst for power, the report states. The Russians also allegedly possessed a campaign email discussing a plan approved by Secretary Clinton to link Putin and Russian hackers to candidate Trump in order to distract the American public from the Clinton email server scandal. True. True. We know that that was Clinton's plan. We know that in her campaign offices in New York, she was scheming with her campaign manager to link Trump to Putin in order to distract away from her private server scandal and to link Russia to that private server scandal. And then you had the whole DNC thing, and then the hacked files, which they also placed on Russia, and they went after WikiLeaks. Remember all of that? What a scam all of that was, huh? Anyway, if the Russian intel knew about this, then no doubt about it, U.S. intel and the U.S. government knew all about this, right? So how come they didn't say anything? How come the Republicans didn't say anything? Are you telling me that Republicans in 2015 or 2016 didn't know about Hillary? If this is to be believed, I don't see why not. We have all the videos of Hillary Clinton acting very, very strange in certain occasions. We have that on video. There was the one time where she fainted. She was at some event and she fainted and she was placed into a van, and she wasn't even taken to a hospital. She was taken to like a makeshift hospital or something like that. So I like how they're trying to say that Russia knew and Russia knew. Well, didn't the US government know? Didn't the Republicans know? Didn't the Democrats know that this person who everyone thought was going to be the next president of the United States, who the New York Times said had a 98% chance of becoming the next president of the United States in 2016, who was Secretary of State under Obama? Didn't they know that she was on tranquilizers and she had mood swings, according to these documents? That's what these documents say. Anyway, let's move on, and let's now talk about the negotiations in Gaza, which have broken down again. This time we are getting reports from CNN that Witkoff is pulling out of the talks. Witkoff is no longer going to be trying to mediate, if you believe that, trying to mediate some sort of a deal between Hamas and Israel. CNN is saying, not CNN, Politico is saying that Witkoff believes that Hamas is not serious about negotiations. U.S. leaves Gaza ceasefire talks, says Hamas doesn't want to end fighting. Hamas does not appear to be coordinated or acting in good faith, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said. We don't really have any specifics about what he means with all of this. All we know is that he's done negotiating. Of course, this could be a negotiating tactic, right? To try and force concessions or more concessions or whatever from Hamas. You say you're pulling out, you're not going to negotiate anymore in order to try and get something more from Hamas, or I don't know. Anyway, that's the news from Politico, and all of this is happening as starvation is devastating Gaza. The mainstream media cannot avoid this story any longer. Actually, mainstream media outlets are now even saying that their journalists in the region are facing starvation. Not only children and people who are in Gaza who are being choked off from from food because of the Israeli blockade. But even journalists and doctors as well are unable to get food, and even the media is pleading with Netanyahu to let food in because their journalists are also facing starvation. CNN has an article with the title, "Gaza is starving and outrage is spreading." And Politico has an article with the title, "EU, too little too late on Gaza. NGOs tell von der Leyen humanitarian groups are urging the EU to impose sanctions on Israel." Yeah, Ursula put out a post on X the other day. So did Kaya Kallas, like 1 day ago or 2 days ago, saying that the blockade has to stop and food has to get into Gaza. But too little too late. Yeah, the EU also said they're going to consider, I talked about this 2-3 weeks ago, that they're going to consider looking at possibly, maybe, placing sanctions on Israel, possibly. Freezing a trade deal, actually, is what we're talking about. The EU's trade deal with Israel. They may look at putting that on pause, maybe, possibly. Possibly they're going to take a look at it, they said. That was 2 weeks ago. Macron, though, he put out a post on X saying that he is going to recognize Palestine. Macron posted, "Consistent with its historic commitment to a just and lasting peace in the Middle East, I have decided that France will recognize the state of Palestine. I will make this solemn announcement before the United Nations General Assembly this coming September. The urgent priority today is to end the war in Gaza and to bring relief to the civilian population. Peace is possible." Secretary of State Marco Rubio was very upset with this post by Macron. He said the United States strongly rejects Macron's plan to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. This reckless decision only serves Hamas propaganda and sets back peace. It is a slap in the face to the victims of October 7th. So look, we got another month and some change until the UN General Assembly Security Council meeting in September, where Macron is claiming that he will recognize Palestine. He said this a month ago, a little over a month ago. He said he's going to recognize Palestine back then, but then he pulled back because of the conflict with Iran. So now he's saying this again, that he is going to recognize Palestine. We'll see. We'll see if he actually does it or if he finds another excuse. With Macron, you can't really believe anything that he says, but from a domestic political angle, his approval ratings are so low. I talked about this the other day. He's at about 19% approval, and a move like this, domestic politically, with regards to his approval ratings, would play out really well, I would imagine. Of course, he's angering Israel. He's angering the United States. He's trying to get the EU on board with him so he can build some sort of a coalition, which will provide him some cover from the anger of the United States and Israel. But so far, I think the only countries that he has with them, Spain and Ireland, and I think that's about it. Maybe 1 or 2 other countries, but that's it. So anyway, that is the news from Emmanuel Macron. We will wait until September and see what he does. But until then, everyone is calling for this blockade to be lifted and for the food to reach the people who are starving in Gaza. A horrific situation in Gaza that no collective West power is doing anything about. The United States is not doing anything about it. If you want to call Germany and the UK a collective West power, they're not doing anything about it. And even France is not really doing anything about it. These words from Macron are all well and good. I'm going to recognize Palestine, he's saying, but we're not seeing any pressure to get food into Gaza to save lives. We're not seeing that from France. Anyway, let's get to some other news and we can get to a clown world. Oh, some other news. Starlink went out. We had a global outage. Let's move away from the music. We had a global outage of Starlink. And the first people to notice it were the Ukraine military, because they relied heavily on Starlink, and the entire Starlink system went out. Elon Musk posted on X that Starlink is out and they are working to fix it. But did you know that the Ukraine military uses over 40,000 Starlink terminals to communicate and coordinate the war and the conflict? 40,000 plus terminals is what the Ukraine military is using. And yesterday we had the passing away of Hulk Hogan. Passed away at 71 years old. Hulk Hogan, perhaps the most famous wrestler of all time. Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan, someone that if you were growing up at the time of wrestling's height, with Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and all of those guys, then you will be saddened by this news. Anyway, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. So let's do a clown world, right? Let's do a clown world, and we have two clown worlds for today. The first one is coming from the Wall Street Journal, which is saying that Biden has sold his memoir for $10 million, which is less than what Obama and Clinton sold their memoirs for. So Biden got paid. Job well done. You caused a lot of chaos, caused a lot of war, caused a lot of death and destruction. Here's your 10 million for your memoirs, for Biden's memoirs. I actually talked about this 4 or 5 days ago, that Biden was writing his writing his memoirs. I can't even say it with a straight face. That Biden was writing his memoirs. It was going to be, I believe I said 500 pages long, right? 500 pages or something like that. That was going to be Bidenopolis' memoirs, and he was putting this book together. And he's already gotten paid, man. 10 million bucks. That's how it works in the United States. That is how it works. In the US, you don't get paid on the front end, you get paid on the back end. When you're done being president or when you're done holding office, that's when you put out the book and you get paid there. Of course, with a ghostwriter. I doubt that Biden's actually writing 500 pages, but you get paid when the book is announced. It'll be published, but who's going to really buy Biden's memoirs? It'll be put on the New York Times bestseller list, which isn't really tracking books that sell a lot. They have the whole thing rigged. The whole thing is rigged. The whole system is rigged so that they get the money. If you're not putting out a book, then you get placed on some sort of a company board, like Obama got placed on Netflix. Actually, Obama got the best of both worlds. He got the books, and he got the Netflix production company and sat on the board of directors or whatever. He got all of that stuff. Biden's going to get 10% for the big guy and a $10 million book payout, buyout. All right. So that's Bidenopolis. And finally, we have one more clown world, which has to do with the EU meeting with Xi Jinping, Costa, and Ursula von der Leyen. They traveled to Beijing to celebrate 50 years of cooperation between China and the European Union. Ursula insulted the Chinese. Of course, what else would you expect? She insulted the Chinese. She could not help herself. She had to talk about Russia and China's support of Russia. She said you have to stop supporting Russia, and if you don't stop supporting them, then the European Union and China, we may not be friends. That was pretty much her message. Stop supporting Russia, and if you continue to support them, then our relationship is going to suffer in the future. Right, Ursula? Anyway, the claim, according to Reuters, from all of this this celebration and meetings for the 50th anniversary of EU-China partnership and trade, is that Chinese companies are supplying Russia with engines for drones disguised as refrigerators. That's right. Engines for drones disguised as refrigerators. So it's no longer washing machine chips. It's refrigerators. Refrigerators, tatters. They are using engines for drones are being disguised as refrigerators. Refrigerators, tatters, washing machine chips, shovels. China, stop. Stop supporting Putin's water machine. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like what I'm wearing in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below, and we also have a free shipping deal as well on the Duran shop, so check it out. Take care.